gonna come out. Oh, it's spinning. All right. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for tuning in. We are on the edge of our seats. No, literally, I'm on the edge of my seat. But I am so excited about tonight. We are in what day is this? Day number 3? Day number three of this marathon. Hey, look, we want to thank you for being with us on this journey. It is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And let me tell you, every day, when you make a declaration that you're going to do something new in your life, there's going to be attacks. There's going to be arrows. There's going to be darts coming at you. But I'm here to tell you today that today is a good day. A good day to actually be a part and be here in this little room that we have here, this marathon that we have going on right here. So look, hey, again, my name is Antonio and I'm with Karen Cheeks. Karen Cheeks, just go ahead and say hi to all the people.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to day number 3 of the Focus Marathon. We are so excited about today and tonight's topic. But before we jump into it, we got to do just a couple of little things.
Couple of little announcements. Well, one. Come on, baby. So yesterday, we came on live yesterday and somebody had texted us and said, man, the audio, we can't hear Karen. So we got to do a mic check, y'all. If y'all can hear us, go ahead and put that in the comments right now.
Give us a thumbs
more
up.
Importantly, can you hear Karen? People was crying out to make sure they can hear Karen. So go ahead and put that in the chat that you can hear Karen clearly.
Yes.
Go ahead and do that real quick.
I'll say a little something else. Yeah, please give a thumbs up. Say, yes, we can hear, anything just to let us know that the sound is coming through clear and you're hearing what we're hearing our voices.
Yeah, because you guys are our moderators. You are our producers. You're helping us produce this and hear you well. All good. We see that. Thank you, sir, for putting that out there. That's what you call a hero right there. They're putting it out there real quick that they can hear us. I love it.
Right.
Thank you for doing that. We're seeing some smiles. We're seeing some thumbs up.
All right.
Great. Because look, I was telling Karen, I think I was saying earlier today, I said, Karen, this is like being in the gym. When you say, hey, you got to do a push-up, you got to do a bench press, and you don't do it all the way, man, that don't even count. You got to do that one over again. So Karen is going, good audio tonight. Yeah, we was working all day today, making sure it was much better for you, much pleasing for you, because if it's bad audio, you're going to stop listening. So,
right.
But I told Karen, I said, Karen, we can't do that. We're going to have to pull that one down. We're going to pull that thing down. That was just really bad. So thanks for hanging with us.
Yes.
Thanks for coming back because you could have said, we ain't never looking at that no more. But you came back and we thank you for that.
Yes.
So Karen is going to come out again. She's going to be spotlighted. Matter of fact, I may not even be here. I might just have her front and center and maybe I'll be over to the side somewhere producing, making sure stuff come up for you.
I think you should be here with me. I think that'd be good.
I tried to give y'all what you wanted, but she said no. Oh, somebody said double microphone action tonight. Well, you know what? Just a little heads up on that. It's double mic being fed into one feed so we both can get equal, time. So I'll teach y'all about that. We're learning. Let me tell you, after 26 days of this, we're going to be awesome
experts.
So you know, after this, let's do a course on how to live stream effectively. Cause we're gonna take all of, somebody said a bonus day. I like that. We get a bonus. No, that's not what they said. Look at what they said. We get a bonus day with sis Karen.
That's awesome.
I don't know, man. Y'all, come on now. All right, y'all. I'm gonna try to work it out where Karen comes back for a bonus day and really let her be front and center. Don't y'all want to give her some love? Don't y'all want to hear she is a platform speaker? She's just holding back on you guys, man. Let's go ahead and do this thing. So anyway, Karen, I know we've been talking a lot. I'm excited. Yes. The adrenaline is going. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight is awesome. Before we get into the night, I want to remind you that tomorrow, we're going to be talking about how to focus on your business. This is going to be outstanding. I got a young man that we've been watching for years. How long have we known this?
You've known him longer than me.
Yeah, but you've known him at least how many years?
At least 10 maybe.
10 years, and I a few more years than that. But his story is so interesting. From Nigeria, came to the States, working for IHOP, and has now turned it into a international businessman. I'm sure he's a multimillionaire. He doesn't want to talk about it, but
don't put his business.
I don't want to put it out there, but the guy is not about that. We're talking about how do you focus to get to that next level. Yeah. And I will tell you, everybody that we admire, that we are aspire to be like, they focused. And yes, they may eventually have multiple streams of income, but when they started, they had this thing about them, this, what do you call it? Stick-to-itiveness to stay with one thing. So that's the focus for this whole marathon. How do you learn to do that? So with that being said, anything else you want to tell to your fans? You got fans out here, girl. This is great. I love it.
Well, first, just thanks for everybody for tuning in tonight. Hey, if you have not shared, please share that. Share your link. Share it with your family. Share it with your friends. Let people know that they want to tune in. Because tonight we're talking about something that is really, I think, really heartwarming. Yeah. It's something that, we all will go through at some point in time in our lives. And the person we have coming is a dear friend. So we're going to introduce him in a second. But if you have not shared, please do share, because this is something that I think will really help people.
A lot of people.
Move forward in their lives, especially if you've ever had a loss and you need to move forward, and maybe you've gotten stuck. Maybe you haven't gotten over that. Yeah. And so this conversation tonight is really going to be impactful to give some key nuggets and some key things that people can do to start moving forward.
All right. Yeah. Hey, they're waiting too long. They're like, come on, y'all, stop making us wait. Let's go ahead and get into it. Tonight's topic is about how to focus as you are going through your grief. Not how do you focus staying in your grief. How do you focus as you're going through your grief? Did y'all hear? Look, y'all know who I am. If you don't know by now, lean in to this story, this topic tonight, because I guarantee you're going to come away enjoying this and with some good nuggets that you can take away and help somebody else with. Y'all always know I'm talking about not being selfish. So as you get these good nuggets tonight and all the nights that's coming up, make sure you're sharing it with someone else. All right? Yeah. Let's go. So let's go ahead and introduce the person that's coming up. Karen, you want to do the honors?
Sure. So tonight we have a really great gentleman. He's a friend of ours.
Yes.
We've spent a lot of time with him and his wife and some of his family members as well. And he's just a really great guy. So his name is Vaughn Johnson.
Mr. Vaughn Johnson.
Mr. Vaughn Johnson. Some family members call him AJ, but we're going to stick with
I was like, who's AJ? I said, who's AJ? I'm looking around, AJ. I said, I'm talking to him. I said, do you know AJ? He was like, yeah, that's me. I said, oh, okay.
We're going to stick with his government name. Mr. Vaughn Johnson. And he's got a really great bio here. So he has his BA in Biblical Studies from Lancaster Bible College. So congrats to you, Vaughn, on making that achievement. He's currently enrolled at Light University in a biblical counseling certification program. And so what he's going to be sharing is going to be extremely helpful.
This is good.
He's in a ministry. It's called Healing, Transitions, and Bereavement. And he helps to facilitate the Grief Share curriculum. So he helps to develop that curriculum and then facilitate it with people who are going through just really tough situations. And then a really fun fact about him. So y'all, this man loves to ride motorcycles.
Oh, you know what? I should have had one to put up on the screen. Remember we was following them on the motorcycles?
Yes.
I wish I had a video clip of that. That would have been nice.
So he loves to ride motorcycles. He's got a little daredevil side to him, but he's also the chaplain for the Christian Motorcycle Association. So listen, y'all, help us welcome Brother Vaughn Johnson to this conversation tonight. Give him some love in the chat and let him feel welcome.
This is
very special. Thank you so much.
You are special, man. You are special to us. Y'all put some love. Rebel with we got Rebel with a Car. Look, we normally go through the lesson, but you got people talking about Rebel with a Cause. We got Welcome Vaughn. Oh man. So Vaughn, you are already loved in the community. So people know you, they respect you. And so we're happy. We got some hand claps up here. So people love you already, man.
Amen.
People know about your work. Yeah. So we're happy that you stepped in to come in. And the reason why I say stepped in, y'all don't understand. We talked about when Karen and I decided to do this marathon, we just decided to do it. This was not planned. And people have been just stepping up to the mic. And Vaughn Johnson, Mr. Johnson, is our first guest speaker.
Yes.
And he was like, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. Let's do
He
it.
did not hesitate.
Yeah, so come on. Much love. Much love. Thank you, sir, for being here.
You're welcome. It's an honor to be here, and it's a great thing that you're embarking on. I think we've talked about it a little bit, and I'm excited for where this is going.
All right, good. Well, let's go ahead and get into the discussion. So, Mr. Vaughn, and I know people in the chat will have some questions as well, and we'll bring that in a little bit later in the segment. But we're talking about how do you get through and focus through your grief as you're grieving? How do you still maintain some focus and get through this thing? First of all, let's talk about grief.
Yeah.
When you as you're working with people, coaching and counseling people through grief, what should we know? What is like a common thing people should know about grief and what it is, things like that?
Well, first and foremost, it's a natural reaction.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes a very strong, overwhelming emotion that people experience due to some loss in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the common misconception is that maybe we shouldn't feel some things or for as long as we do. But it's natural to experience grief.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that. So when you're working with people in grief, do you typically, are there like guidelines? What would be a typical protocol if, for example, if I came and I said, man, that I'm going through some things. Is there, for all of us, we're lay persons, right? We might come across somebody who's dealing with grief. Are there things that we should probably not say? Like, angel, heaven was missing an angel, and he needed to,
Right.
Not being crazy. We won't say any crazy things, but are there some guidelines that like regular folks like us here on this call should like just know about off the bat?
Yeah, I think a lot of times we're mistaken when we believe that we have something to say that's going to help them feel better. And oftentimes that person just needs to know that you're there. Grief is different for everyone, so you can't know where anyone is at any particular time. So we can't use some of these cliches that people go to people that are grieving and say to them.
Right. Wow, that's interesting. Because those cliches could be even more hurtful.
Exactly.
Yeah.
For example, God needed somebody, or they're in a better place. Most people feel like the best place for their loved one to be is with them.
Yeah.
With no disrespect to God, but they want their loved one there with them.
Gotcha. That's interesting. I have a question for you from the chat in the comments, and that is, does somebody that's mourning a loss of somebody, I think they call it the mourner's rights. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah, mourner's rights is something that we communicate during grief shifts.
Okay.
And I think it centers around allowing a person who's mourning to feel whatever they feel. And tying that into the previous question, oftentimes comments are made to discourage people from feeling a certain way or not wanting to do something, or maybe wanting to do something too soon. You have to allow people anything within that broad range of emotions that they're going to experience when they're grieving. And there are tons of emotions that are going to come up, not necessarily in any particular order or at any particular time. And we have to allow those people to experience that. And in grief share, for example, it's a group setting, but some people maybe don't want to speak, and that has to be okay.
Got you.
So that's really impactful what you're saying. So, because sometimes we may notice that a family member or a friend who's dealing with grief, they may seem to us that they're stuck. How can we know that this person is either in a healthy stage of grief or an unhealthy stage of grief?
Being stuck could be maybe not wanting to move for too long, or maybe say, for example, it's easy enough to not want to clean up in your home, or maybe to not want to go to work. But at some point, if there isn't any mobility, if there isn't any activity, you maybe have to consider that person is stuck, and attempt to introduce some small steps to get them to move from the place where they are.
Gotcha.
And also, I think we might have seen, you go past the cemetery in January of 2012, 2016, October, you're still seeing that person going and posting up at the cemetery gravesite. And it may be an indication that that person is kind of stuck and unwilling to let go and move on.
Right. Hey, Brother Vaughn, you're just, I can already tell you've done this. Let me ask you a question. I have a couple of echoing issues in the chat. Do you have your headset nearby?
I could take a minute and get one. It would be the over-the-ear type.
Ladies and gentlemen in the chat, are you okay with the over-the-ear kind of headset? I think that will stop the echoing. Tell me now. Put that in the chat that you're okay with that. I think we're good with that. Cause I saw like a couple of people say they was getting an echo from you. Oh, let me go down some more. Let's try it out. Cause I want to come back with a serious question for you.
Put me backstage and I'll go get that, sir.
There you go. All right. So Mr. Vaughn went backstage. Somebody said yes, they want that. Yes, they'll like that. So we're gonna put the headsets on, and I think that will stop the echoing that you guys are hearing. We're fine. We don't hear echo, but it's all about you guys. It's all about you guys out there. So we want to make sure that you are getting the best enjoyment out of this conversation that you can.
Right.
And I got a question for him. Oh yeah, man, you look good. So I see him in the backstage. So he's getting ready to come back up.
But before you jump into your question, I want him to unpack what he was saying. Like, how, what are some of those steps?
Good.
What are some of those things? I want to follow up on that question about if somebody is stuck, what can we do to really help them?
Okay, come on, Hammer.
Unstuck?
Hammer, don't hurt him, Hammer.
No, it's about the
That's a good
practical.
question.
So we talked about the fact that we want to give biblical principles, but also practical application.
Gotcha,
and so, what are some of those steps that we can do, or even take ourselves? Because it could be us.
Could be us,
right?
Yep.
So we want Vaughn to.
All right, so let's bring Brother Vaughn back into the screen.
Hold on.
Okay, you're not ready. All right, because you sound better right there. It seemed like, didn't it? He was like had that bass in his voice. Hold on. All right. Hey, so make sure if y'all listening to this, y'all have questions. Make sure you're getting your questions ready for Mr. Johnson. I don't have the answer. That's why we're bringing in experts in their fields who could actually talk about that. While we're waiting on him to come in, I want you to remember that tomorrow should be, don't forget, it's business tomorrow. And then the next day, we want to kick off our fitness segment as well. We're going to have a couple of fitness segments throughout the month or these nights. And one is going to be 2 on fitness, hopefully. One is on nutrition. And man, just so much stuff. Make sure y'all don't miss any night. You shouldn't be missing a night. It's a marathon. Aren't we in this together?
Yeah, and we have a lot of stuff coming next week, but we can't give that out just yet. I mean, some really hot topics. Yeah. Every week we got some really great people coming to share, and I'm excited. It's almost like I can't sleep at night, I
really can't sleep at night, so just tossing and turning. And you jump up out of bed because you can't wait to get to this point where we're sharing with you, and we just hope that you're enjoying it. Look, I'm getting choked up. Need some water probably, that's all it is. But yeah, we hope you're having a good time. So, hey, while I'm out here, I see that some friends of ours. I see some students of ours out there in the chat. Yeah, thanks for coming out. Thanks for following. I also saw that Brother Vaughn, somebody made a statement that we're coming out strong with Brother Vaughn tonight as our first guest. So, yeah, thanks for coming out. Remember hey, if you have not subscribed to our channel, I understand. However, if we have given you value, then click subscribe. If we don't give you value, I understand. So, but if we've given you value that you want to share with other people, go ahead and click subscribe. So let's add Mr. Vaughn back into the chat here. And let me take him back out of the chat. He said thumbs up, and then he started talking to somebody. All right, you back with us?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. All right, so you, ladies and gentlemen in the chat, let me know if it's better now. Okay, don't leave us hanging. So let us know. All right, so Karen has a question to pick up where you left off at.
Right. We were just talking about the fact that sometimes people may get stuck in their grief. And so if you start to notice that either with family or friends, what are some practical things that we can do to either help our family or friends, or even some actions we can take ourselves if we find ourselves stuck? What are some practical things that we can do to start to move past that place so that we're continuing to move forward in our lives?
Well, on a personal level, if you realize yourself that you're stuck, being aware to the extent that you can realize that about yourself could potentially prompt you to start taking inventory of your behavior.
Okay.
And if you find that you're in a cycle and doing the same things, if you find that you have a to-do list, for example, and you're not getting things done, then something needs to happen to kind of get you moving again. I mean, if you look around and observe that things aren't being taken care of, then at some point you have to find the motivation to begin to move forward. And in doing so, when people are grieving, a lot of people remove themselves from their prayer life. And one of the things that we're strong on in Grief Share is trying to press in deeper and closer to God and have God speak to you, have His Word begin to reassure you that you need to begin to move and do some things different as you realize that you're haven't been doing much of anything.
Gotcha.
And if it's not you, if you observe someone else, if you're close enough to them, kind of take inventory as to what type of dialogue you can maybe introduce and begin to maybe make some subtle suggestions about changing their behavior.
Okay. Subtle suggestions.
I would start smaller. You know, like maybe not necessarily say, hey, let's go out to the movies or take a vacation, but, you know, have we taken a walk lately? You know, it might be good to get outside and get some air. You know, have you done anything? You know, have you checked out the flower garden? Or just some little subtle things based on how you observe they live. And begin to suggest little things that create movement in their life and begin to kind of stimulate their thought processes as to how to begin to move forward.
Yeah, I like that.
Hopefully that gives some people some ideas.
Yeah, let me ask you this question. When you say people, we say these things, these phrases, these statements, and almost as if we're not giving people space to grieve or to mourn. Could some of that be us being uncomfortable with the grief situation that's going on? Yeah. Like we look, we want you to hurry up and get through it because we're uncomfortable because you're going through it and we don't know how to handle it. We don't know what to do. And so, you know, we're not making light of the fact that you're grieving, but we kind of like want you to, come on, let's get through it kind of thing. Cause I mean, I don't know if it's like a selfish thing on our part as the people that are watching it happen. Like we feel uncomfortable. Sometimes, yeah.
Or impatient.
Yeah, impatient with the process.
Right.
Yeah, I'm seeing that there's still an echo, but I don't know what we can do about that.
No problem. I'm gonna work on something.
To speak to your question, you mentioned going through.
Yes.
And one of the common misconceptions that I've discovered in serving is that people are putting limitations on the period of time that they have to grieve. And going through could be misleading because some people are going to have some emotions for a lifetime. And so going through, to me, says getting to the other side of it.
Okay.
and we may not ever get to the other side, because when you love deeply, you're going to mourn deeply, and you will always have memories. But moving forward, I think when we suggest things to people, we want to see them get better. But at the same time, we should be educated as to what they're going through and what to expect them to be going through, so we don't say things that might come off wrong.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
All
So
right.
it's
That
like
makes sense.
when you have people that are alcoholics or drug addicts,
Uh-huh.
you have the Alcoholics Anonymous and the Narcotics Anonymous and what have you. But then there's also support groups for the people that they have to live with, to help them to understand the alcoholics recovery process, so as not to enable and whatnot. So I think
This is
it's
interesting.
similar with grief.
Yeah. Let me bring this question to the forefront. When we talk about grief, typically we're talking about the loss of someone, a loved one, somebody that's close to us, and we go through grief based on the loss. Can the principles that you were talking about when it comes to loss, can that apply to other areas of loss that can cause us grief, like losing a job, losing your home, things of that nature that will cause us pain,
Yeah.
grief? And I think there's probably some practical steps, like somebody has said, mourner's rights, that maybe when it comes to other things, we'd have mourner's rights as well that we have to go through.
As well. And since I've begun to facilitate for people with the loss of loved ones, I've had to get new respect for people that have lost pets, for example.
Pets. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Because, I mean, it's a loss.
Yeah.
And the list of losses not only include loved ones that are human, they include pets, they include broken relationships. You can mourn the loss of a job. You can military people that have to relocate. Sometimes the effect is mourning, if not by the person who's going to a new job, maybe the wife or the children. They're mourning because they've had to leave their student friends and what have you. And anything that's a loss. You have a car accident. My car was stolen years ago, and I mourned that loss for a while. I felt violated, but I mourned the loss of a car that I was really, really crazy about.
Yeah.
So it can happen with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I remember years ago, I lost a job. It means like blindsided. You talking about blindsided. And we had first just gotten married when that happened. And she had a great attitude about it. She was like, "Are you all right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm all right." She's all right. And she just went on about her business. I was like, wow. I was expecting this big blowout, but she was like, "No, we're going to be all right." But I didn't realize how devastated I was by that loss, because I had my identity was wrapped into the work that I was doing, or the job that I was doing at the time. That was my identity. That was how I knew myself in that field, in that genre. And when they let me go, it felt like they were saying that I wasn't needed, kind of like thing, And sometimes it's just a business decision, but because I was so into it, for you entrepreneurs out there, you're like, yeah, that's why I'm an entrepreneur. I don't want to go through that stuff. I feel you. Yeah, I and what I did, I tried to, how they say, when you fall off a horse, jump up and get right back on it. I don't think that was the right thing to do. I think I needed to go and process this stuff, because I say this all the time. I said, people will treat you the way they meet you. People will treat you the way they meet you. And so if you are still in a grieving state and you're not really yourself anymore, that's the first impression they get of you.
Yeah.
And that state might be weak, might be feeble, not strong, not assertive. And so when they get that, that's what they're going to own about you. And they'll never be able to see you coming out of that, because they want to keep you in that space. So I get it. This is it's been fruitful.
Oh yeah, definitely. Just as you were talking, just one more thing as far
Yeah,
as
just
loss.
one more thing. Yeah.
Well, just as far as loss, because if we continue to expand what grief could entail, it could also be loss of a dream or an
Ooh,
aspiration.
no, I saw something about that too. Yeah.
Oh, somebody said that in the
No,
chat.
somebody said in the case of COVID, the way of
yeah.
life.
Loss of the way of
Yeah,
life.
Yeah, loss of the way of life.
yeah. And so trying to figure out what does life look like now, or if that dream was lost or whatever it was that was lost, how do I now go about dealing in life day to day? How do I handle myself? How do I interact with people? How do people view me? How do I view myself? I think those are like some questions that you maybe have to start asking. And
Yeah.
so Vaughn, tell us, what are some key things that people can get involved in to kind of help? What are you obviously there's something through church, motorcycles possibly,
hobbies, stuff like that.
hobbies, but talk about some things that people can do to help them kind of start to put the puzzle pieces back together again.
Yeah, I think first and foremost, it's very important to get involved in a program that helps you to understand what exactly is going to be going on with you personally. You're going to go through a range of emotions that you probably don't expect. Society has convinced us that we need to be strong and not show emotion when we're in certain environments. But you need to understand that you're going to go through some things, you're going to experience some emotion things. And one, you have to accept it, you have to own it. You have to learn how to own up to the fact that that person that you lost, or whatever that thing is that causes you to grieve, it's no longer there. And so you have to accept the fact that we use the term new normal. You have to accept the fact that my journey now is toward a new normal, which means to me having a successful lifestyle, even though that person is gone. So I think it's most important to accept where you are and try to understand what it is that's going to come at you, because we talk about the initial loss, but there are trickle down losses for for a married person who loses their spouse. So like if you had another couple that you hung out with for years, all of a sudden somebody's the third wheel.
Right.
And so that's another loss. Your social arena gets affected, and a whole lot of other things that trickle down. If you lost somebody who took care of your lawn, your whole lifestyle begins to change based on the loss. And so it's critical to try to understand what it is that lies ahead of you. And it's not the same as the person that sits in the chair on your left or your right. Everybody's scenario is different. So it's critical that you get in and find out what's yours and how to grab a hold of what you need to move forward.
Wow.
Yeah, when you said that, it made me think about my mom because my dad passed in 2017. And for her, she'd been married since she was 23. So her whole adult life was actually as a married woman. And, so there are certain things that she just didn't do because my father took care of them. Now she has to learn, or had to learn, to take on some of those things. But one of the things I do applaud her for, she decided to get other widows together and have like a get together from time to time so that they can talk and talk about some of those things, how their lives have changed and, how they're coping and how they're, moving past that. And it was something that she just decided to start. I don't know if a friend brought it up, but at any rate, she decided to dive in full steam ahead, to help for her in that initial process of now living her life as a single woman, a widowed woman, really. And I think it was a huge adjustment and still an adjustment even 4 years later.
Yeah, but it's important that she's found an arena where they can vent. Because one of the other things that's detrimental is to just sit on it, press it in, and I always call it the pressure cooker effect. Happens when we just suppress those emotions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, silky smooth, man. Great information. This is your lane. This we can tell you care about this lane. what should we be looking forward? If somebody wanted to talk to you more, or talk to you about Grief Share, which is a program that you are involved with, if they wanted to find out more about that, do you have resources, or is there a place they can contact, maybe at your church or something like that might be helpful?
Well, I'm a member of First Baptist Church of Glenarden, and
All right,
the
all
Healing
right.
Transition Bereavement Ministry has a website or an email, htb@fbcglenarden.org. They can send an email to that ministry, and someone will be in touch with them.
Could you say that one more time?
htb@fbcglenarden.org, and we have people that view those emails and assign someone to contact that person. And even if they don't come into Grief Share, someone makes contact with them and give them that option. And there are other options, I'm sure, available.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we want to thank you with a big heart. Thank you for coming out tonight, being our first guest,
Yes.
taking the load off of us a little bit, helping us with the conversation. We went a little bit longer with you because of the topic. Thanks for sharing and not thinking that it was robbery. Yeah. But no, this was great. This was great. Before I let you go, I'm just going to check and see. I don't know if you see anything in the comments that we should probably highlight, but I just want to double check to see if anybody had a last question, and then we're going to get you up out of here.
And while he's doing that, Vaughn, would you just share a little bit about why you are so passionate about working with people who are going through grief? Is there something that has drawn you to, this type of ministry?
That's great, Ben.
Okay. I found myself in Grief Share, or in the Healing Transition Bereavement Ministry. Initially, I carried a friend. I heard about it. My friend had lost her son. But when I went to the focus groups with her, I looked deep inside of me. And I had lost both parents, and I'd also lost an infant. And so what I initially thought was going to help someone else helped me. And as a believer, I've come to realize that God wants to use what I've been through to help others. And as a result of my losses, I have a ton of other experiences that were negative reactions to my grieving. And God allowed me to go through some things, to learn some things that are really critical to share with people that are grieving now, to keep them from not making some of the mistakes that compound their personal situation. Some people, we want to take medication because we can't sleep, but that's not the answer. We want to avoid God. We want to run away. We want to blame God. We want to do a lot of things that are a detriment to our moving forward. And God just had me in this ministry to help other people, because grief is something that we're all going to experience. And the enemy wants us to not position ourselves to help other people, but God wants us to be there for one another.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Well, Brother Vaughn, we want to say, hey, may God bless you and your body of work, your ministry. Thank God we have one. Thank God for your transparency.
Yeah.
That's always a blessing when people can share from their heart, from their experiences. It moves people, and you've done a great job tonight. We pray that God put a blessing on you and your household, that God continues to cover you and keep you, and that you continue to be strong in your ministry, strong in your faith, man. And so we pray those blessings over you, and we thank you again for coming out. Ladies and gentlemen, just go ahead and give our brother here a round of applause again in this virtual space. We thank you, brother, for coming out tonight. We are going to just really thank you again. Can't thank you enough. How about we just buy him dinner?
That sounds like a good plan.
We'll just get together. Tell the missus we'll be catching up with you guys real soon. Thank you again. Thank you, audience.
Thank you.
Viewers, for coming out. Don't forget to tune in tomorrow night. We're going to talk about going through focusing on your business. So you want to come in tonight. Hey, if somebody missed, they need to be here. Make sure they come tomorrow night and tune in. And again, we thank you. God bless. Y'all take care of yourself.